Welcome, sports fans and Roundtable family, to another exciting episode of the Sports Roundtable Trio Edition, Tuesdays on the Edge, home by your trio. I'm your host, Rowdy, joined as always by my co-host, Little Bro Coop, and Big Boy with his fantastic background. He can talk about it in a little bit.
What is that?
Most of the newbies
It's a
don't
show
really know
that
what
your
that's about.
generation would like flip out if they watched because y'all are too soft. That's what it is. It's Married with Children.
Too soft. But this is
Gotcha.
our version of Overreaction Monday, of course, but better here on this Tuesday night, 7 p.m. if you're watching right when it comes out. Man, was it a packed football weekend, divisional round weekend. The Baltimore Ravens going at home and just destroy the Houston Texans, make the offense not even score a touchdown. Then we have a great, what we thought was going to maybe be an upset in the Green Bay Packers, and they just could not hold it out at the 49ers. Then last night, I mean, what a game, guys. Almost, I think, 5 or 6 lead changes for the Buffalo Bills to shit down their leg again in the playoffs and let the Kansas City Chiefs keep strolling away on that ticking time bomb, as Coop likes to say in last week's episode. But, man, we appreciate y'all joining us. We got a jam-packed one. Talk about the weekend. A couple of sporting events coming on this week that we're going to hit as well. But how are we doing, guys?
Good.
Not great, man. My Texans got their ass beat. But they exceeded expectations on the season. No one thought they were gonna go win 11 games and go to the second round of playoffs. So people ask me if I'm mad. You know what? Yes, I'm mad, but I'm not really mad. So, but yeah.
Yeah, it was. I agree. I talked trash, but I thought they literally would have won like 4 games this year. So good for them. I think CJ put up 3 points, so that's
that offense, it was rough.
Wasn't very good. But I think D'Amico does have him going in the right direction. I will admit that. We'll see, what he does his second year. There's been a lot of quarterbacks that do good their rookie year and then kind of don't do anything. I think y'all need to definitely get some offensive linemen. You need to use all your picks to get offensive linemen. And
I mean, there were so many pre-snap penalties in that game.
Yeah.
It was actually making me really mad. There were so many penalties that you would start behind the sticks. There's nothing worse than going out on your drive and boom, false start. You're behind the sticks already. It messes up the whole drive.
Well, that's why I said last week I think the ties would have been flipped if Houston would have had to play at Cleveland. Houston's team is they're too young of an inexperienced no playoff experienced team. So where they go on the road at a loud place like Baltimore against a good Baltimore team and defense who just does not care to just lighten you up and could care less if they get hurt whenever they tackle you. It was crazy. But the other one, the Lions, I mean, they're there. NFC Championship, held on to win. Good game. I mean, the brand new Lions, as they like to call them.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting weekend pairing with them and the 49ers, that's for sure.
And I'm telling you right now, 49ers didn't look the best.
No, their offense.
And I think the Lions defense can get after them a little more than Green Bay's did. And Jared Goff is looking good. They got some speed with their running backs, and St. Brown is a dog. I mean, he really is, man. And he's strong, and he's a player, man. So it's gonna be a pretty good game. I think it may have just woken him up though. But if Debo is out, like we've talked about, I mean, Debo, that offense runs through Debo. I don't care what anybody says. McCaffrey, of course, he's great, but without Debo, man, they are a different team. And Trent Williams and he was back, but it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a good game.
Is Brock overrated to y'all? I've been watching Brock, and it's like he's not bad. I'm not saying he's bad, but it's not as good as what people hype him up to be, I feel like. You know what I'm saying? Is that just me or is that y'all too?
I mean, I don't think you can say he's overrated when he's led his team to 2 years.
Not
in a row of
overrated,
conference
but just not
championships.
like not as good as like
Well, he does what he's asked to do.
Yeah, he just does.
And that's the thing. When we were getting a little argument about the, a system quarterback and all that. Every quarterback's pretty much a system quarterback. Like, there's not many. Like, if you took Tom Brady and tried to have him run what Lamar's running, it ain't gonna work. You make your offense around the strength of what you have, and I think Brock is good for what he is there. I mean, do I think he's a world beater or anything like that? No. I think Cam was right when he said he's not going to win you the game, but he won't lose it for you. And that's what, with all the weapons San Francisco has, that's kind of what you need. I mean, like Josh Allen. I mean, everybody loves Josh Allen. And I heard some stats today, like his offense, and when he is losing to Patrick, but he's playing his game like he's averaging over 300 total yards. He has 1 turnover in the 4 games.
Yeah.
I mean, he's good in that respect, but he's still losing. And a lot of his passes are behind the line. There was a big Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp and Dan Orlovsky. They were going at it today. I saw that. And, to me, they both made good points, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think is Brock's like, he's not a top 5 quarterback, maybe not even a top 10 quarterback with how he's been playing lately. But like you said, he just gets the job done. And when he needs to step up and make a play, he steps up and makes a play and doesn't try to do too much. And I don't care who you are, what kind of quarterback you are, to be able to take your team to 2 conference championships back-to-back years just after you got drafted. I mean, you got to be a good quarterback to do that. I don't care what talent you have around you. I mean, look at all the other quarterbacks in the league who are top 10, top 5 quarterbacks, right? I mean, Josh Allen's one of them. Dak, right? All these quarterbacks who are top 10 quarterbacks, maybe even top 5, but they just can't they don't go out there and make the conference championship back-to-back years or even 1 year.
And as much hate as everyone's giving Dak, and I mean, he still threw picks,
Exactly. I mean, that's the one
Joe
thing.
Flacco, he threw 2 picks, and that's the reason the Texans won the game. I mean, so,
and that's always been the thing with Brock. It's like, obviously, he had that one game a couple of weeks ago where he had those 4 picks. But besides that, he doesn't really turn the ball over that much. And he makes the plays when he has to make them. Now, is more asked for him than other quarterbacks? No. Like, he doesn't have to do as much because he does have Christian McCaffrey back there. And he does have the skill set, but it's also the offensive system he's in. And he's just executes it good and does what he needs to do to get the team to win and not turn the ball over, most importantly, I think.
And San Francisco has a defense. I mean, Trent Dilfer with the Bucks, he won, Joe Flacco, I mean, he won one. Who was the quarterback there first one? I can't remember, but he wasn't that good either. So Baltimore's. But I think that's who it's going to end up being. I think the 2 defenses that are playing the hottest right now are going to be there. I think it's going to be Baltimore against San Fran.
Yep.
I mean, I think Baltimore has a better chance of winning than
San Fran.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
The
Lions they're hot and they're tough. They're coming in.
Their defense is kind of like them in that way. They stepped up big this past week, and I mean, I think it's going to be interesting because both the Ravens and the 49ers I saw today, like the middle linebacker position the last couple of years has kind of gone away in football, right? You go look at those 2 teams, that's the top 4 middle linebackers in the league split up between those 2 teams, and they're difference makers on those 2 teams.
Yeah.
Not only are they leaders and captains on the teams, but they're also the best players on their defense as a whole. I mean, Kyle Van Noy was talking about today too on the Ravens linebackers. I think that's the biggest thing. It's like they're kind of bringing that back. Is like you need to have some dirt nose, like not scared to go hit somebody, middle linebackers who can still move side to side, sideline to sideline, can pick the ball off when they need to, like the Ravens linebacker did to finish off the – or not Ravens, 49ers.
No, that was the Lions.
Yeah, but, I mean, just to be able to have a linebacker who can go and hit somebody in the gap, but then be able to guard someone in coverage is just massive for a defense.
And both of those defenses, to me, you're going to catch it. You might catch a 7-yard pass, but you're going to get tackled at 7 and 8 yards.
Yep.
You know, they're not giving up those yak yards and stuff like that. And they're coming to tackle, man. It's if that is what it does end up being, it's going to be awesome, man.
Oh,
It is. And I do, to me, the Ravens are hot, man. They're looking so good, but we'll see. That's why they play the game.
Going over, guys, to, one of the best games I've seen in a long time, the Chiefs and Bills game. Listen to this stat. Josh Allen is 3-1 against Patrick Mahomes in the regular season. He's 0-3 against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. The Bills just cannot get past the Chiefs in the playoffs. It was ridiculous. And I don't want to be that guy. Okay, listen. But kickers really do mess up the game, don't they? I mean, come on, man. Like, I'm not saying it's an easy task. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I could go out there and kick it, okay? But if that's your job, if that's what you wake up and do every single day, and you're getting paid millions to do it, and you can't go make, like, I can get it if it's like a 50-yarder, 50-plus yarder. It was like a 40-yarder. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, that wind was going. You saw
it was
that ball.
brutal, but I mean,
but if Diggs would have caught that deep pass, we wouldn't be talking about this.
Diggs.
So
that-
Diggs makes $15 million a year. So and you're supposed to be.
Not only that,
I agree.
I go after Josh Allen those last two plays. He just needs 5 to 6 yards per pass, and he's throwing to the end zone both times. When he's
And if he would have hit one of them, he was open.
And he had dudes open.
Yeah.
Underneath both of those plays that he easily. Diggs was on the first one on second down, and that would have been 7 yards before he even could have had a chance to catch it and run. So who knows? He probably could have got the first down there that he passed him up to throw deep, and then the same on the third down play. He had a tight end going right over underneath too, and freaking threw it out of bounds.
There's a lot of plays that the Bills could have made.
Yeah,
the Bills' offense in the second half turned to shit.
Yeah,
I think,
they did.
And that's the thing. It's like we've given praise to Joe Brady for the turnaround that he's helped, and praise to him and what he's done. But you saw his inexperience as a kind of play caller in big situation come, and I think bite him in the butt, just because that offense changed in the second half, bro. They were running all over the Chiefs, right? That's the Chiefs' biggest weakness.
Oh, they were.
I mean, Cook and Allen with his legs in the first half, and they just went completely away from it in the second half. Went completely away from the run, and that's what we talked about last week. Was whoever was going to be able to establish the run and be able to run out the clock in the fourth quarter was going to win, and that was Pacheco and the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs O-line stepped up in the fourth, and they were able to just grind it out with the rock and Pacheco just running people over. But that's what the Bills should have been doing the whole second half, like they did in the first half, but they just went away from it. I don't know why. I don't know why Diggs was shit again, too.
Well, I mean,
right?
he hasn't been good the whole second half of the season.
He isn't even beginning the most targets either. I saw like over the last like 6 or 7 games, he's not even first on targets on the team.
Yeah.
He's gonna come on down and play with his brother, and it's gonna be okay. You know.
Yeah.
You wish.
I don't know if they can afford it, half of the people they got right now. That's a whole deal with them. I mean, you got to give Dak like $53 million. So,
well,
they're going to do it too. So
while we're recording, they posted. There's a video of Cameron Dicker going around at a hockey game tonight.
Yeah.
I guess whoever he is, and he takes off his hockey jersey and chugs a beer.
Dicker, huh?
Love Cameron Dicker. That's awesome.
Snob out of the freaking Pro Bowl.
That's awesome. But yeah, I mean, that was a game, man, and that one hurts for the Bills fans, especially when it comes down to missing that field goal. But I mean,
but again, it's not just
there was a lot of plays in the second half, right? I mean, they that fourth, whatever they were doing on fourth down for one, trying to fake the punt with DeMar Hamlin. I don't know what that was. They were just trying to get him comeback player of the year or something. I don't know what that was. And then the defense able to force that turnover. You got lucky the defense forced the turnover right there for the touchback. Because that was the same drive. Like the Chiefs score there. I mean, they put it away. So there was a lot of back and forth luck that was needed. And the best.
And they're talking about they need to
Quarterback
change that
stepped up.
rule. I don't know. I think
No.
that's
I don't
I,
think so.
it's a weird
Stupid.
rule, but I understand why, because if not, you have to have a little check and balances there.
Where do you put the ball?
Yeah,
Like if you change the rule and it goes out of end zone, where do you put the ball? You don't like you should
back at the 20.
like that's
Like
their
it's-
end zone, right? I mean,
I think it should stay the same.
I think so. I mean, that's the defense's end zone. If
yeah,
they can get the ball to go out in their end zone, it's their ball.
yeah.
I mean, I don't think that would. I saw some people are talking about that, and I saw that was the same thing Pat and them were saying today. That'd be stupid. Like, what would they do? Because then, if the NFL did that, then you're gonna have dudes just freaking throwing the ball out like this, one handed, like because they're not worried about
Maybe,
losing
yeah.
the ball.
Was it
Yeah.
still in his hand or not?
Yeah, they're not worried about losing it. Like that's
Yeah.
stupid. Well, we'll see. I mean, some big games over the past weekend. Obviously, the Lions. I still keep thinking back to the Lions, man. I mean, what they did against Baker and the Bucks.
Hey, and don't forget, Baker had a shot to go down and score. Let's not
Yeah.
forget that,
Yeah.
guys.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like the first half, they like most of these passing offenses have been able to kind of dial up against the Lions all year, just because that's been their biggest weakness was in the secondary. And they had given up yards all year, and for some reason, the Bucks in the first half just did not threaten the ball up the vertical of the field until that last drive.
That last
right
drive
before
with
halftime.
Evans. Yeah, when
that
Evans
was
caught
it.
two
That
in
was
a
the
row.
That was the first one. And it was like, oh shit, like I guess we can maybe do that. And I don't know why they went away from that or whatever. But like I
And
said, I
Baker
think
still
it's-
had a good day. I mean, he threw that pick. That you can't do that, but he still went for 350.
Yeah, I mean, his first pick was on Evans. I don't know if you saw that, but it was like the first drive he threw a
Yeah.
pick, and it was right through Evans's hands. Boom, that's a pick. And then obviously the last one. But what about was that on the second pick that he threw that, or was it the first one that the guy who picked it tossed the ball back to him?
That was the
Like
first one. That was
The
one he
first
was talking shit with all week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cornerback.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I like that. A little petty, you know.
Yeah, toss it right back to him. Make
Yeah.
sure you send it back with the jersey, all that.
Oh yeah. Well, and then sticking around the NFL too, Tennessee Titans just hired their head coach finally. We talking about it, waiting for these dominoes to fall. It's been a slow out process, and apparently that's what I heard Adam Schefter talking about today. Like that's what the NFL's wanted from these teams. It's like interview 5 to 10 guys and like take your time with it. And finally, Tennessee makes the first move, and I don't know.
I'm not very impressed. I mean,
Bengals
it's different when you don't have,
coordinator.
Joe Burrow back there.
Exactly. And it's not like he made Joe Burrow who he is. Joe Burrow was already like that.
Well, Joe Burrow was hurt this year, but I mean, that backup came in and played a lot, and he did okay. But I'm not too impressed with. I mean, it's not like they were world beaters, Hey, is Eric Bieniemy going to get a job?
Bro, I don't know. I saw that the Commanders were interviewing him for the head job, but he hasn't got any other places I haven't seen.
That's crazy, man.
Well, and they're talking about it today on Adam was with Pat, and they're even talking about how crazy it is like with Bill. Like Bill's only really talked to the Falcons, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, that is it. One of the best coaches of all time is a free agent right now, and he's only talked to the Falcons, and he's talked to them twice. And they were talking about it was like the same thing with kind of how it was with Lamar and Tom whenever they were free agents. Like there wasn't very many teams going after him, and then with Deshaun, you had the whole league going after him. But then for whatever reason, there's just like no one going after Bill for I don't know why. Like why would you not want Bill Belichick as your head coach?
Maybe he wants to be in too much control, and I can get that from some owners.
Yeah,
like we kind of talked about before, but
I mean, all these owners need it though. That's the thing is like most of these teams who are looking for head coaches besides the Seahawks have been dog shit for a while now.
The Commanders, I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't kick the tires.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the Falcons are going to make sense. I mean, obviously, I think that's where he's going to end up.
I wouldn't have let Bill leave why we need two. Like, what do you need? Maybe they're worried about, look, he's only wants to be here 2 or 3 years or something, maybe. I don't know. But if he can get you back to winning or get you
Yeah,
a Super
just
Bowl,
Get,
I
get your
mean,
old roster. It's
yeah.
not like college where if the head coach leaves, the portal opens up for 30 days. And
But his roster development has not been the greatest.
No, but
so
I think if he can just get somewhere else, like I mean, because there was always talk of some of those other people around him at the Patriots that were kind of making those decisions for him, and like it really wasn't going on as much as Bill's decisions as people thought it was. Like there really wasn't a lot of his choices. Like apparently he wanted to bench Mac Jones early in the season, and the Crafts were like, no, like you're playing him this season. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting, especially with Harbaugh too, right? He's taking a second interview with the Chargers now.
man, I'm thinking he might stay. He might just go ahead and stay. Did you see that thing where he said, the passing of the torch?
Mm-hmm.
And I did take it the way I think it was Schefter was talking about it. I took it more as like, the seniors to the juniors and stuff like that. I didn't take it as leaving. Yeah, I didn't take it, the way he said that, like passing of the torch of the team down. But I don't know, maybe it's, I mean, college is a pretty good. I mean, you have to deal with NIL and transfer portal and all that, but man, he has that thing rolling up there in Michigan. I mean, it is so.
Oh yeah, I mean, and for the people who do follow the recruiting in the transfer portal of college, I mean, he's got Ohio State going crazy right now.
Yeah,
I mean, they are bringing in some big time dudes, high school ranks and portal ranks.
And they lost a lot of guys too, though.
They did. They did. And I mean, they're bringing in a shit ton of talent, and who knows what kind of money they're really spending. I saw it came out today, and I saw more colleges are trying to do it, but like CJ Stroud's like now one of their donors to their collective. Like he's giving them like 50, I think it's 50 grand a year, or like 50 to 100 grand a year to their collective now that he's given to him up there at Ohio State.
So. Oh, there's boosters giving $5 million. That 50 grand ain't doing nothing.
But imagine if you get like your 10 of your players that are in the league now to give 50 to 100 grand. I mean, that's a couple players.
That's $1 million.
Yeah, so that's a couple players.
Man, those boosters are giving a lot more than that, brother. These dudes that own car dealerships and oil companies, and how much you think UT's really spending? They don't talk about it much, but man, that price tag is huge.
Yeah.
A&M too. I mean, they lost a lot, but they got a lot in the portal. Ole Miss, whoever's back in Ole Miss, he dropped a check this offseason. You know?
Oh yeah.
So I don't know.
It'll be interesting.
I think CJ Stroud and the former players, that's good for, hey, these are our guys. You know what I mean? Like this could be you too, and that kind of stuff. But as far as the real money, $1 million ain't shit. From what they say, like it's amazing. Like, just look at the linemen here. Each one of them are getting 50 to 100 just for signing.
Yep.
How much is Kelvin Banks really getting? Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, and that's part of it, that something needs to change, because I mean it's only going to get worse. I mean,
and CJ Stroud, he's making good money, but he ain't making that real quarterback money yet.
Oh no.
He's not making the 40, $50 million.
Like Jordan Love just earned himself. They're saying he's about to get him a deal this offseason, big time.
Yeah, they're gonna pay him, which we'll see.
Good for them. I mean, he had a good year, but at
least
1 year.
He 1 year, but he got to sit for 2.
Yeah.
So it's a little different. I mean, again, like these defensive coordinators, it's great the first year, and then they get to watch tape on you, just like a pitcher after the the first round of batters goes through. You know, it's a little different the second time. So
No doubt, no doubt.
we'll see.
I think it'll be interesting. I mean, not only with that, but just some of these dudes who are going into the draft quarterback wise, like if they're going to keep them or like how they really going to step up as first year quarterbacks. Because you know, it's like a lot of times teams want these quarterbacks like Jordan Love, right, to sit for a couple of years and then come on and ball because that's how they're always made. But then like you have the CJ Strouds of the world who have a good first year, but who knows what they do their second. So it's going to be interesting.
And that's the thing. It used to be more like that. You know, it used to be, okay, we're going to draft a kid. We're going to let him sit for a year and a half, learn, which I think is great. I think ideally that's how what you want.
Mahomes
But
too. Mahomes,
Huh?
imagine Mahomes. Do you think Mahomes would be like he is today if he did not sit those year and a half, 2 years
behind Alex Smith too. And Alex Smith was good.
Yep. I don't know if Mahomes would be the quarterback he is today. I mean, those first 2 years, I mean, they can go bad for a quarterback like Bryce Young. Who knows what's going to happen in his career just because of this first year?
Yeah.
I mean, it can put a toll to him. But looking at another sport we really haven't talked about too much, but it's really kind of getting going, and that is the golf world, PGA. I don't know if y'all saw this last week, and they had a tourney in Cali, big tourney, and
The young kid one.
first time since 1991 an amateur has won a PGA Tour event. 1991, Phil Mickelson won it. But this dude, 20 years old, Nick Dunlap from Alabama, goes out, shoots 29 under to win against all the big dogs playing in it. Spieth, Justin Thomas finished tied for third. Scheffler was in it. And so he goes out, wins this. And mind you, he was in the lead going into the last day. So 20 years old, playing with Justin Thomas on the last day, and was able to keep the lead. Makes about a 7 or 8 foot par putt on the last hole to win it. Wow. And they showed some videos of his Bama team watching on the bus, and it was awesome.
It went nuts,
awesome.
huh?
It was awesome. But to get to the point of it too, is the shitty point is, since he's an amateur, he doesn't get any of that money. Mm-hmm. Like, you've never seen amateurs have placed high and they lose out on 500, 600 grand, which to them would have been awesome, right? But first place, I think the first place prize was 1.5. I think it's 1.5. Doesn't get a single dime of that.
It's like that guy in the U.S. Open. When was it? 2 years ago? There was the amateur.
Yeah, the Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it's like he's not even there. So second place got 1.5 million, which that's what first place should have got.
Yeah.
I just think that's stupid. Especially
but you're an amateur, man.
Yeah, but you're in college, but it's like NIL. Why can't he win that money? He's 20 years old.
But he's still an amateur.
Yeah. So and the big thing is now,
Nike might come calling for an NIL deal now, though. So
exactly.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing is, so with his win, so now he has to decide if he wants to turn pro, because he could turn pro now because he has his tour card since he won. So he can turn pro or he can go back to Bama. But which he came out today and said what he's going to do. Because at first they thought he was playing next weekend in the Farmers Insurance Open. And he came out today and withdrew and said he's going back to Bama, not turning pro. But no matter what, he's into the Masters this coming year. He's good for it. Since he won that tournament, he's good to go into the Masters this year. And he's fully exempt on the PGA Tour through 2026, no matter what. And then if he was to turn pro, he would have been into every signature event that's out there for the PGA this season. But
so what year is he? Is sophomore, junior?
Sophomore, yeah.
So if let's say he stayed for this year, but then came out next year, would he still get those to the other tournaments or just the big tournaments?
He's fully exempt on the tour through 2026.
So he still got some years.
He could come out next year, but he just needs to win again so he can keep his tour card. You
got to keep your card.
I don't know if it's necessarily winning a tournament, but you got to place a certain seed throughout the year, finish with a certain amount of points, however that kind of works, like tennis, all all that kind of weird stuff. But I just thought it was interesting because that's one of those decisions. Like, even if he was to turn pro, like it's not like he gets that money from winning either.
Yeah,
That's
you
the
can't
thing.
go back
That's
and
the
say, no,
thing.
I'm playing. I was,
no,
yeah.
no,
Yeah.
but he was like plus 46,000 to win
Wow.
that thing, and it was insane. And he
Maybe he
went
put a
from-
couple hundred on himself, man. He's like, I'm cool. I gambled on myself.
but
My dad got that bet in for us.
he went from, I think he was world ranked was like 160 something, and now he's like world ranked 60. It's the highest jump ever in PGA Tour history.
How are you even ranked if you're an amateur? See, that's another thing don't make sense.
Well, that's all the amateurs who get to play in tournaments like that they're always ranked.
Oh, okay.
But it's just the fact like they only get in certain tournaments, like certain, I think they call it like exemption, like sponsorship exemptions, like where they can let you into the tournament to play like as an amateur. Or
Yeah.
obviously the big tournaments, they always have like their amateur field that you can qualify for and shit like that. But I just thought that was an interesting one for sure. But real quick, before we close out this Tuesday's Night on the Edge, we've kind of talked about it all. And I know this episode's going to be coming out 7 p.m. on Tuesday night. On Tuesday night at 6 p.m., if you may be watching this during the game or after the game happens, it's a big one on the court, on the hardwood, right? Texas coming off a massive home victory against Baylor, upset buzzer beater victory. And you got the Texas Longhorns on the road coming to Norman against OU.
Hold that thought. Hold on. Didn't it, what's his face say? Oh, here we act like we've been there. We act like we've done that, this and that. Did you see how they acted after they beat Baylor?
He was jumping up and down.
Yeah,
He was.
exactly.
He got
Oh,
roasted for
you
it,
act
too.
like we've been here. Obviously not. You ain't been there.
No,
You
'cause
ain't been there. You ain't done that.
I'll let it slide because he knows how big of a win that was. He
I don't
loses
It
care.
that
was,
game.
but what he did
Don't
with
say
the horns
week-
down
game
thing,
before. Yeah,
No,
don't
no-
say the
no
game
doubt.
before. Oh, win with
he
class.
he was wrong for saying what he said, and he knows it. I guarantee he regrets saying what he said. But
Oh, for sure.
yeah, I agree. I agree.
Because how are you gonna say win with class when you lose the game before and then you beat a good team in Baylor
Yeah.
and then it's like the end of the world, you know?
At
what I'm saying?
home,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah, and they beat you on your court. So
Yeah.
Yeah. no, I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, of course K is gonna be courtside tickets, supporting
yeah.
the Sooners.
Courtside,
Yeah.
across, y'all look for me on ESPN. Courtside, across from the bench,
Wearing that OU jersey.
section.
Yeah.
No,
Or
You
his
wearing a
wife.
Baker Mayfield jersey.
I'll be repping the brand. Just in
Or
case I
his
get on TV.
neutral white shirt, right, big boy?
Yeah, his little
Uh-huh.
Under Armour shirt.
Me and you were only real ones in that section.
Had to fight off 200 rednecks. You know what I mean?
But talking about the game real quick, I think let me see if the new rankings came out.
Listen, guys, the Horns got to rebound better and play better
Yeah,
defense.
They have to rebound
You
and play
gotta
better.
have
defense.
rebounds.
Let's see. So
I
the
mean,
new, yeah,
I think
tried
they're
to watch.
like I said, either this little stretch is going to be them. It's over, or this is going to bring them together. And I do think that Baylor win was huge, man. And they're starting to gel. And you're talking stuff about your brother, and I just noticed the shirt that you have on, so you can't really say much.
Hey, but hey,
You
it don't matter.
stretched a little too far
Hold
up.
on,
You know what I mean?
Listen,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
it doesn't matter because when we play, I still wear a Texas shirt. So
Listen.
that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Listen, I have not worn one on the pod yet. You're the first one to do that.
Yeah,
You are the first one to
So,
do that.
Well,
That's a sweet
normally
little
we
Under
don't
Armour
film
shirt,
on
buddy.
these
Hey,
days,
don't
This-
worry. I got your shitty ass conference on over here for
Yeah.
you. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Uh-huh.
But real quick before we get out of here, looking at the game, the new rankings did come out. So they're still not ranked, right? Deservedly
Good.
so. OU number 11, 15-3. And like I said, the rebound is going to be massive. Sam Godwin, I believe, is the center for OU, and he's top 3 in the nation on offensive rebounds. That's literally all he does is just get offensive boards. Doesn't really score much, but it's just an offensive board machine. Like you watch it tomorrow night, and it's impressive. Like with how many times he ends up with the ball on the offensive board. I don't know how, whether he's just in the right spot at the right time or what, but it's crazy. But it's gonna be, like we said, I mean, Texas won that game at the buzzer and they shot lights out against Baylor. That's the scary part.
Yeah, they did.
They're not going to shoot like that,
Especially in the first
game.
half. Second half wasn't as good. They went through some lulls, but Shedrick really needs to get on the boards, man. He needs to show that defense and that
And
aggressiveness.
that's the thing is like your two biggest big men have been injury prone so much, right? So I think that's part of it. Like they're just not physical down there. So I mean, same with the Sioux. He doesn't really get many boards, and Mitchell needs to step up in their spot because he's the next biggest dude to go down there and get a board.
Shedrick is Mitchell ain't going to be down there banging. I mean, he's just that's not his game. So
it's going to be interesting. I mean, because I know OU is a guard team too, kind of like UT. So it's going to really be how UT's guards can play defense. I think it's going to be the deciding factor in that game. And I know when OU's made a lot of turnovers this year, that's when they just kind of struggled in a couple of the games that I have seen. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a packed
and you
Boyd Noble. So
you know who needs to be out there play a lot of this game is Weaver.
Yeah,
Let my boy's a dog, man.
I think he earned his stripes last game.
Yes, he's scrappy, man. He's not going to score a lot, but man, he is scrappy. He's going to
He had not been in a game like that.
Yeah.
He had not been at the end of the game like that in a while.
Yeah. Well, he played a lot. He played like 20 minutes or something.
He earned his stripes, I think, last
Yeah.
night. So it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to being there. It's going to be because that's the thing too. It's like obviously last year with OU basketball sucked. Like just no atmosphere whatsoever because it's kind of like a Frank Irwin Center vibe. It's just too big. But tomorrow night, I think sold out. So it should be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully, Texas is going to have to not turn the ball over and get some rebounds and force some turnovers. And I think those should be all right. But make sure y'all tune in to Friday's episode. We'll kind of talk about the game, see what goes down. But man, it was a good weekend. We'll preview all the NFL action from championship weekend on Friday, of course, as well. And I don't got anything else unless y'all got something.
3 more weeks, man. We got the conference championship games. We got the Pro Bowl. Then we got the Super Bowl, and it's over, boys. It's over.
But the pod's not over, so that's all that
No, the
matters.
pod's not over, but life is over when it comes
Life
to football.
is over for a little bit.
Yeah.
Football, and then we're gonna have to. I mean, y'all are gonna have to learn to watch some other sports so you can learn what to talk about. Shit.
Guess I have to start watching boring baseball. Yeah.
Speaking of baseball, we of course have another roundtable chat coming to you Friday. Hope you enjoyed that one from last week with Cameron Bush over at Texas State. We mentioned it. We got D2 baseball player coming at you this weekend, kind of give us perspectives. They rankings just came out, number 2 D2 team in the nation going into this year. So it's going to be a good one Friday, but that's going to bring us to the edge of this Tuesday's On the Edge adventure. Man, we hope y'all enjoyed it. We got some new setups, new equipment. We're going. If y'all want to join the Super Bowl squares, check out the social medias. Hit us up. We've had a lot of people. Almost got one board full already, which is 100 slots. So we're chugging away, man, and we appreciate y'all, all your support. Like, subscribe. What else they got to do, big boy?
Ring that bell.
Ring that bell, as Big Boy likes to say. But until then, have a good rest of the week. Stay warm if it's cold. We'll see you Friday for the Sports Roundtable Trio edition. Until then, peace.